Blessing Christian Lifestyle. My name is Anthony, and today we're going to read Exodus chapter 15. We're actually going to start on 15, verse 22. All right. Chapter 15 starts out with the Song of Moses. So we're just going to skip through that. We'll go over that at another time. We're going to start at chapter 15, verse 22, and see how far we get. All right. So I'm planning on getting to maybe chapter 20 at least. All right, depending how see how it goes. All right, here we go. Exodus chapter 15, verse 22. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea. Then they went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. So remember, so far, starting with the book of Exodus, hey, Moses, he got his people out of Exodus. Out of Egypt. All right, so the book of Genesis ends with Joseph bringing the Hebrews into Egypt because of the famine. And then Exodus starts off, hey, 10 generations later, nobody knows Joseph, and they just enslaved the Hebrews. Right? And then we go with Moses. He God tells him to tell Pharaoh, hey, let my people go, and takes 10 tries, right? 10 plagues. Finally, the Passover, which is, God, pretty much kills the firstborn of everybody in Egypt except those who have the red blood on their door. All right. And then we go from there. Now we're escaping Egypt. We finally escaped Egypt. We crossed the Red Sea. And here's chapter 15, verse 22. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. So far, no water. Now, when they came to Marah, they could not drink the water of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it is called Marah. And the people complained against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? So he cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. When he cast it into the water were made sweet. There he made a statute and an ordinance for them, and there he tested them, and said, if you diligently heed the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is right in his sight, give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of the disease on you which I have brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. Then they came to Elim. There were 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees. So they camped there by the waters. Right? We're going into chapter 16. And they journeyed from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. On the 15th day of the second month, all right, we're on 16. After they departed from the land of Egypt, then the whole congregation of the children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, oh, that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat, and when we ate bread to the full, for ye have brought us into the wilderness to kill the whole assembly with hunger. So there's a lot of complaining going around, all right, in the wilderness. They're like, man, Egypt was better. Then the Lord said to Moses, behold, I will rain bread from the heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain quota every day, that I may test them whether they will walk in my law or not. So it is a law. This is a test. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. Then Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, At at evening you shall know that the Lord has brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of the Lord, for he hears your complaints against the Lord. But what are we? What are your complaints against us? Also Moses said, this shall be seen when the Lord gives you meat to eat, in the evening and in the morning bread to the full. For the Lord hears your complaints which you make against him. And what are we? Your complaints are not against us, but against the Lord. Then Moses spoke to Aaron, saying to all the congregation of children of Israel, come near before the Lord, for he has heard your complaints. Now it came to pass that Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked towards the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, all right, I have heard the complaints of the children. So there's a lot of complaining going around. All right, they want meat. First, they want food. Actually, first they wanted water, then they want food, and then they want meat. Here we go. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, I have heard the complaints of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, at twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall fill with bread, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God. So all God is saying is, hey, so you know that I am your Lord, your God. So if it was quail came up at evening and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay all around the camp, and when the layer of the dew lifted there on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance as fine as frost on the ground. So when the children of Israel say it, they said no other, what is that? And Moses said to them, this is the bread which the Lord has given them to eat. And this is the thing which the Lord has commanded. Let every man gather it according to each one's need, one omer for each person, according to the number of persons. And let every man take for who are in his tent. In his tent. And the children of Israel did so and gathered, some more, some less. So when they measured it by omers, he who gathered much had nothing left over, and he who gathered little had no lack. Every man had gathered according to each one's need. And Moses said, let no one leave any of it till morning. Notwithstanding, they did not heed Moses, but some of them left part of it until morning, and its bread worms and stink. So if you left the bread overnight, it would stink. It would have worms and stink. And Moses was angry with them. So they gathered it every morning, every man according to his need, and the sun became hot and melted. And it was on the sixth day that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one, and 2 rulers for the congregation came and told Moses. Because remember, we're going to have the Sabbath on the 7th day. Then he said to them, this is what the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the Sabbath, rest, a holy Sabbath. To the Lord bake, you will bake today, and boil, you will boil, and lay up yourselves all that remains to be kept until morning. So they laid it up until morning, and Moses commanded, and it did not stink, nor were any worms in it. So at this time it didn't stink because, hey, God's preparing the food. Then Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. All right. Moses, 6th day you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, the Sabbath, there will be none. Now it happened that some of the people went out of the 7th day, but they found none. And the Lord said to Moses, how long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? So people keep testing them, all right? They keep testing the commandments, like, hey, you know what? Gather twice as much food so we don't have to go on the Sabbath. And like, you know what? We're just going to go on the Sabbath. And God says, how long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for the Lord has given you the Sabbath, therefore he gives you on the 6th day bread for 2 days. Let every man remain in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th. And the house of Israel, its name, manna. And it was called like white coriander seed. And the taste of it was like wafer made with honey. Then Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord has commanded. Fill an omer with it to be kept for your generation, and they may see the bread in which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt. And Moses said to Aaron, take a pot and put in omer and manna in it, and lay it up before the Lord to be kept for your generation. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up. Another laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel ate manna 40 years until they kept it inhabitant land. And they ate manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. Now, an omer is 1/10 of an ephah. All right. So I'm going to leave it at that. Chapter 16 of Exodus. Exodus chapter 16. All right. Thank you very much.